Hi, my name is Megan Monsour. I'm an adoption attorney at Hinkle Law Firm in Wichita, Kansas. I've been practicing in adoption and family building for over 12 years. I love what I do in helping build families, and I would love to provide some helpful information to any expectant mother who may want to consider adoption for her child. In Kansas, nothing obligates an expectant mother to sign an adoption consent or go through with an adoption until after the child is born. In Kansas, she can only sign a consent to adoption 12 hours after the child is born. And that at that point is when that consent becomes final under Kansas law. But an adoption plan that she makes prior to the baby being born does not require her to actually sign that consent document after the child is born. So nothing obligates her to do so, even if she has an adoption plan. The adoption plan that an expectant mother makes with her adoption team, whoever that is, an attorney like myself or an adoption agency, that should be the plan that she wants, and it should look like the plan that you would like it to look like. That includes choosing the adoptive family. Whoever you're working with will be able to provide you with multiple families that would love the opportunity to become parents or grow their family, including parenting the child that you are carrying. If that includes contact with the adoptive family that you would like to pursue later in the child's life, that is called an open adoption, and that is certainly up to you as the biological parent to determine that you would like contact with the adoptive family and or the child as the child grows. There's all sorts of different kinds of open adoption agreements. I say there's as many as the colors of the rainbow. Some, birth parents, biological parents want a lot of contact, visitation, maybe even Zoom calls that we're so used to now, or phone calls, and they have that very consistent contact. Other birth families and adoptive families don't have as much contact. Maybe they receive pictures and updates, or they have an email or a separate adoption kind of connect account that provides the updates that the biological family would like. But that is entirely up to you as the expectant mother to determine the type of contact that you would like with the potential adoptive family. Another factor to consider in adoption is sort of this financial aspect of an adoption. Kansas law is very clear that an expectant mother may receive reasonable living expenses during her pregnancy to help, provide for her care and provide for the care of her unborn child. Typically, that is provided by the adoptive family, and that can include help with all living expenses, rent, utilities, phone bill, gas money, those types of things can be legally covered and would have to be approved by the court, but it is clearly contemplated and is allowed under Kansas law. Another aspect of the kind of financial piece is that an expectant mother will never pay any of the expenses in relation to her medical bills. If her insurance doesn't cover that, anything unpaid will be covered by the adoptive family. Another very big piece that I maybe should have started out with is that the biological mother does have the right to her own attorney. The adoptive family typically would have a separate attorney. That's what I would suggest, that both parties have separate counsel. But as the expectant mother and to the extent expectant father, you would absolutely have the right to your own counsel and should feel like your questions are being answered and that you are being represented throughout the process. Another really big piece that I am passionate about and I really try to encourage is that an expectant mother does have the right and is encouraged to speak to a mental health professional, counseling or therapy during her adoption process and after, to talk through, this adoption. Adoption can be beautiful and wonderful, but there's absolutely loss and grief associated with that, especially for the biological family. I am someone who's benefited from therapy, and I really try to encourage all women that I speak to seek out that counseling and to talk through um, your decision with a expert, and especially someone who has some adoption experience. So that's another one of the rights of an expectant mother. You're right, that I really encourage. You also would have the choice to name the child at the hospital. You certainly do not have to. I like to mention that. If that would provide any closure, you can choose a name. Sometimes it can be really beautiful when the adoptive family and the biological family decide on a name or a middle name that they agree upon, that can go with the child throughout the child's life. Those are the big picture points of an adoption that I think is helpful for an expectant mother to consider when they're thinking about all of their options for a pregnancy that maybe they weren't planning necessarily. And I hope that was helpful. Thank you.